thanks to the African Network Resource Center for inviting me to hold a presentation for you today on this seminar of prosperity with a purpose. So the agenda of this presentation is as follows. First, I will say a few words about me, for those of you who don't know me that well. Then I will share some information about the company that I have recently founded, called NOSTARIS. After that, I will present a short lecture for you guys. And then at the end, there will be some time for Q&A. Some questions, which I will answer to the best of my ability. And of course, if you have any questions along the way, you're also free to ask, of course. Yeah, so just a little bit about me. My name is MARIUS BLOMLIE. I'm 33 years old. I'm born and raised here in Norway. I am a father and a husband. A father to Lucia and husband to Svanhild, which is sitting here in all her beauty and radiance. For my education, I have a Master of Science in Physics and Mathematics from NTNU. The graduation year was 2014. After my education, I worked a few years as an analyst and as a trader for Statkraft, which is the largest company for renewable energy production in Europe, where I was analyzing the power and energy markets and using our models and the information we have to trade in the financial markets and make money for the company. I'm also the founder of NOSTARIS, the company that I will tell you a bit about. I'm also an author. I've been writing some articles which have been published in some of the largest news media in Norway. I'm also working on a larger project now, which will be revealed later. I'm also a passionate chess player, one of the strongest players in Trøndelag, and recently crowned the chess champion of the Trondheim Chess Club. But first and foremost, I consider myself a philosopher, because I've always been interested in the big questions in life. What is the meaning of everything? Why do we exist? Is there a God? And so on. And as I said, I will say a few words about the company that I recently started. It's called NOSTARIS. Some of you might wonder, is this a normal name or have I created something new? Actually, I constructed the word NOSTARIS because I wanted something fresh, something new, something that didn't exist. And this word, this term, is composed of three terms. Noesis is an old, ancient Greek philosophical concept, which means intellect or understanding. So it has something to do with knowledge, something to do with wisdom. And then Polaris is the Latin name for the brightest star closest to the North Pole of the celestial sphere. So Polaris is the star that you see directly north of the North Pole of the Earth. And then One common English name for Polaris is simply the northern star. So when you have NOSTARIS, Polaris, and northern star together, the result is NOSTARIS. So here you see a long exposure photo of the night sky. There's someone called Ashley Days. Because the Earth is always spinning around its axis, it appears as if the stars on the sky are rotating, right? But you see there is one fixed point here. Right in the middle of the sky, it doesn't move. Even if the Earth is spinning, this star seems to be stationary because it's directly above the North Pole. And this star is called Polaris, which is the northern star. So when you find this star on the sky, it's quite easy actually. You immediately know which direction is north. So it actually functions as a kind of compass. You don't need to have a compass in your hand. You can simply look at the sky, find the star, and then you know the direction of true north. And because of this, it's always pointing towards the north, and it's stationary. Because of this phenomenon, this star has been used as a navigational tool for centuries. Because back in the days, hundreds of years ago, they didn't have charts, they didn't have maps, they didn't have GPS, so they had to use nature to find where to go, which direction, how far, and so on. They simply needed something to navigate. So when Christopher Columbus, the famous explorer, crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 1492, he also used this star to navigate, to find where is true north. Because his intention was to keep going west from Spain until he hit what he thought would be India. And then later it turned out that he did not hit India, but what was America. So he and many other countless sailors in history have used this star as a tool. So in a world where everything is changing, we all need some guidance in life, because the world is incredibly complex and we don't always know where to go, who to ask, where is the truth, where is the right way. So the name NOSTARIS, because of Polaris and Noesis, is therefore referring to someone who can be a guide, a counselor, give advice, share knowledge with all the voyagers, people like us, who are sailing on the ocean of life. And every organization, every company should have a vision. The vision should be as simple as possible so that people can understand it. And NOSTARIS is all about sharing knowledge and helping people. It's as simple as that. The company wants to share knowledge to help people in their path in life. So, as of now, this company that I recently started has two main departments. One department for teaching and one department for consulting. And in the teaching part, the company is offering private tuition, one-on-one sessions with people that maybe need help with homework, exam preparations, simply to understand the subject, which can be, for instance, if someone is struggling a bit with mathematics in school, then the company will offer help for that person. Also, lectures in groups and seminars, like here now, today, is one of the things the company is offering. And it also offers customized courses for each customer. So if someone has a special need, they want something that they cannot find any other place, this company will provide it. Everything related to knowledge in some subjects, which I will reveal on the next slide. And as I said, the company is also offering consultancy work. For instance, assistance in writing applications, negotiations, job interview preparations, etc. As of now, the company has already helped VFMI to apply for state funds, which has been a nice help for the ministry in getting tens of thousands of kroner from the state. The company is also doing analysis of society and markets. So if someone needs help, counseling, assistance in making a decision whether to invest, doesn't necessarily be in the markets, but invest also in other ways, this company can help to assist. And also various kinds of consultation by request. So if someone has a certain need, it can be related to finance, or it can be related to law or application, any other thing, just contact the company and see what they can offer. So knowledge is a product of inspiration and dedication. If you want to be knowledgeable in a field, in everything, you need to be inspired, you need to want it. If you're interested in it, you will do what it takes to find it. So when you have the inspiration and you dedicate yourself, you can accomplish everything. Everything you set your mind to do. When you reach out for the stars, it must come as a desire in your heart, and then dedication from your side. So NOSTARIS is teaching 5 different subjects. One is mathematics. It can be like high school mathematics. It can be low-level university mathematics. And it can also be mathematics for elementary school. And then it also teaches in science, in finance. Like a bit later now, I will give you a short lecture on finance, which shows a bit about what the company is offering. And also in philosophy and in chess, for those who are interested in becoming a chess player, or for those who are already chess players to become stronger players. Because inside every pawn there is a king. Even if you start small, inside of you, you might have some gifts. And as I said, with inspiration and dedication, that gift can make you into a king. Other people might not see it, they only see your shape, your form. You look like a pawn, but inside of you, you have greatness. So eventually, if you dedicate yourself, people will see the king inside of you. So also, as I said, the company has 2 main departments, one for teaching, one for consulting. But the company also has future plans to expand its business by doing investments in the financial markets, reaching out to more people helping them publishing books, books that can help people grow and develop themselves, share the truths about life and existence, because the company wants to inspire people. Not only so that people can profit personally, but so that the whole society can profit. Because when you accumulate knowledge and you share the knowledge, everyone benefits. Knowledge is something that everyone always benefits. So you should not keep it for yourself, but share what you have. And that's also why I wanted to start this company, to share some of the knowledge that I have accumulated along the years. So now we have come to the short lecture that I talked about. I have named it An Introduction to the Dynamics of Modern Financial Markets. And as I said, if you have some questions along the way, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. So, what do we actually mean when we say dynamics? Because I guess a lot of you have heard this word before in different contexts. Dynamics, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is defined as forces or processes that produce change or movement. Forces or processes that produce change or movement. Because we live in a world where everything changes all the time. Even the stars in the heavens is changing. What more of society, what more of human beings, what more of life on earth. And as we now look at the dynamics of the financial markets of today, we are interested in finding out what are really markets, what are they all about, why do they exist, and what makes the markets move, what kind of forces changes the prices in the markets, what's really going on here. Because in all economy, in every market, it is all about supply and demand. Because according to the normal economic theory, prices for any kind of goods, any services, any product is always an equilibrium between supply and demand at all times, no matter what the thing is. It can be a camera, it can be a Big Mac, it can be a car, whatever. It's always about supply and demand. So supply is the production of goods and services, feeding it into the market, making them available, and demand is the consumption, taking from the market, using it, buying it, or eating it. That is consumption. And you always have supply and demand changing because of all the events of the world. They are always changing. So when the supply is high compared to the demand, the prices will go down. So you can imagine you have, let's say, a Big Mac. A menu costs maybe, I don't know, 120 or something. If you had a McDonald's and on every corner of the city and the McDonald's were competing against each other, someone would say, okay, we are willing to offer the Big Mac for 100 to outcompete the others. Someone else might say, no, we can sell it for 80. someone else says, no, we can sell it for 60. You suddenly have a lot of supply, a lot of Big Macs available now in the system. So when the supply goes up, relative to the demand, the prices go down. But if the supply and demand stay approximately the same, they don't change. You just keep what they are. You have the same amount of people buying Big Macs, you have the same amount of restaurants offering Big Macs, then the equilibrium will keep the same as it was before. It will just stay there unchanged. But now imagine that you only have one McDonald's in the whole of Trøndelag, but everyone wants to eat a Big Mac. Everyone wants that. Suddenly you have a high demand, and the only restaurant in Trondheim can say, we can actually sell this Big Mac for 160. People will buy it anyway, because we're the only one offering it. And then they might say, even if we now offer it at 160, people are buying a lot. Let's try to offer it for 200 and see what happens. And then they say, okay, now we don't have that many customers anymore. Okay, maybe 180 is the perfect equilibrium for the price. So this is a standard supply and demand curve. This curve here is the basis of all economic theory. All economic theory that exists can be summarized in this simple graph. Here you have supply, the red line, and demand, the blue line, as a function of quantity and price. So, if the price is very low, close to zero, not many producers would want to produce it. If the market is saying, no, I don't want to pay more than 5 kroner for a Big Mac, McDonald's, they would not produce it, they will not sell it. It's too low. But if the price is very high, let's say 200, high price, they are offering a high quantity. So if they can get a lot of money for the product, they will also produce a lot of it. And the opposite is true for demand. If the price is very high, let's say 500 for a Big Mac, very high, you have almost zero quantity. You don't have any demand for hamburgers that expensive. But if the price goes down, the demand quantity rises. So they always work opposite to each other, the supply curve and the demand curve. And here is the sweet spot. This is the equilibrium. When you reach a certain price, you have people willing to sell the product, and you have people willing to buy the product at that price. And a certain quantity is produced, and a certain quantity is consumed. So when you take Big Mac as an example, at today's prices, maybe around 120 for a menu, this is where it's at now. The price is 120 because that's the equilibrium. If the prices, if McDonald's said, no, we want a higher price, people will not buy anymore. But now, the consumers and the producers agree on the price. They agree that this is a good middle ground. We're meeting halfway because the consumer wants to pay as little as possible. We would be happy to pay only 5. McDonald's would be happy to get 500. But we cannot agree on such a price. But the prices that are now are exactly the prices that the market agrees on. It's always about agreement. So the supply and demand meets somewhere, gives a certain price, and produces a certain amount. And when we consider markets, as also was said in the introduction by Pastor Peter, information is everything. A general life principle is the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. So let's say that it's a good decision to come here today for someone who wants knowledge, to be inspired. But if you didn't have the information that this seminar existed, you couldn't benefit from what's going on here. And it's always like that in life. The more information you have, the better equipped you are to make decisions and judgments. What to do with life, in life, for yourself and for others. And when we translate this to economy, there is an hypothesis called efficient market hypothesis that says that asset prices reflect all available information. So when people produce something, people consume something, it's always a matter of how much information do you have. Let us say now that McDonald's was producing Big Macs, but they were not using actual meat in their burgers. They were using something synthetic, something even illegal. Would you still buy the hamburger? If it's polluted, if it's contaminated, if it's not real? No, probably you would not. But if that information was hidden from the market, people would still buy it if it tasted and looked the same. So, but if that information is released to the market, to people, then that information changes the price of Big Macs. Now almost nobody wants to buy it, maybe just a few, and it drops from 120 maybe down to 5. So at all times, the prices in the world, in the economy, in the market, is always a function of the information available to those participating in the markets. So each time something is happening in the world, any type of event, this event creates information. Events always creates information. So being here today is an event that creates information. Now it is true that a seminar is going on here today. It is true that Peter is here, that Svanhild is here, and so on. Those are true statements of the world. And information always goes here and there. It goes out, it's absorbed, it goes further, and so on. So all the information in the world is being received by the people who are paying attention, the market players. So if someone was buying or selling gold, for instance, you would be very interested in knowing if, let's say, all the gold in the world suddenly disappeared except for a single coin. Maybe that coin is yours, then that coin would be extremely more valuable. Or if, say, all the countries in the world say that we will never mine any gold anymore ever again. That is information that is relevant for the price of the gold. And you always have information going around at all times. And when this information goes to the market, every market player makes a judgment. What is this information worth? So let's say that information came out now that McDonald's is not producing Big Macs made of meat. but something else, classic. Then maybe Peter will say, okay, I consider this new information to mean that I will never ever pay more than 10 kroner for a Big Mac. Julieta might say, yeah, I will pay 25, but not anymore. I think it's still quite okay, but of course I don't like the fact that it's not meat, but I'm willing to pay 25. And then you combine all the opinions of everyone in the market. Someone will say, okay, I'm willing to pay 10. Someone says, I'm willing to pay 25. And so on. And you aggregate all these opinions. You aggregate the opinion of everybody. And that aggregation will now be the new price. So the prices move and change because people's opinions move and change. They always make opinions based on the information they have. And that is telling somebody, okay, that was interesting. Okay, now it's less valuable or more valuable in my eyes. And let's say that McDonald's said that they have hired the most famous chef in the world to prepare the next meal at the closest restaurant. Let's say Gordon Ramsay, someone very famous. If you knew that Gordon Ramsay prepared your hamburger, you would be willing to pay a bit more for that hamburger than you otherwise would have been willing to do. So always when information comes, you change your perception. Okay, I value this at that amount, now I value it at another amount. So information is always floating around everywhere. This can be, let's say, a symbol of what's going on in a company. Someone came too late for work, or the company sold one more car than they expected, or the result was a bit lower than expected. The boss fired someone and he was not allowed to do it, so it will be a court case. You always have events happening everywhere, in each company, in each organization, everywhere you are, and all these events creates information which is floating around everywhere at all times. And then, because of the nature of the world, the structure of reality, everything is connected to everything else. Everything always affects everything else. So by us being here today, right now, it means that we are not in another place. And if we were in another place right now, we would affect that environment by what we do and say and so on. And now we are here affecting each other instead. So everything is always connected with everything else. So all the information in the world is woven together in a fabric, an immaterial fabric of reality. Something here is affecting something there. Something here affects something there, and so on, because it's all connected. Information can always be reduced to a string of zeros and ones, like in computers. The language of computers are zeros and ones. So if you have a sentence or a number, you can translate that into a digital signal of zeros and ones. And all this information is always floating around. We live in a globalized world. Everything is connected to everything else. So what happens in China today, we can know about, because we can check the news, Google, or it reaches us in any other way. So information is always traveling. every second you have trillions and trillions of bits of information traveling back and forth on the whole planet at all times. And then, in the end, all this information is translated into a price for a certain product. So let's say now that we are interested in the gold price. Then everything that's going on in the world that is related to the supply, to the demand of gold, will be relevant for us. So all this information floating around is now being reduced to a single number. So, for instance, this gold coin here, this is pure gold, 99.99%. The value of this coin is changing continuously. Even if I hold it in my hand now, it changes in value. Why? Because of all the information in the world changing, affecting what people think this is worth at all times. So all the information in the world is now reduced to one number, the price of 1 ounce of gold. So, as I said, it's all a matter of supply and demand. How much are you willing to pay for it? How much are you willing to sell it for? And that depends upon the information. So, if someone now is holding this in his hand, for instance, alpha, you can have a look at it. So this is pure gold, 1 ounce of gold, 31.103 grams. And then you see, okay, it looks desirable. You would mind to have one, I guess. It would be nice. And then I can ask you, how much would you be willing to pay for that coin?
Say 150, 100K.
100K?
Yeah.
And you can pass it to Peter. You can have a look at it. What do you think? Is it shiny? Is it nice?
Very nice.
Very nice. You would like it?
I'd like to have it.
So, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Alpha said 100K. Remember, this is 99.99% pure gold.
50K.
50K?
Yeah.
You can pass it to Henry. You can look at it. What do you think?
It's magical.
It's mesmerized.
The one you gave to us, Pastor, how much?
Also be 1 gram, I think.
That was 1 gram.
Okay. I guess.
How many grams is this?
31.103. So, how much would you be willing to pay to own that coin?
I think I should be like between 30 to 50.
Okay. Can you give it to Hedda? See what she thinks. How much is the gold worth?
I need to pay like between 20 to 25,000.
20 to 25? Peter, you already own some of that?
Willing to pay 20,000.
20,000. Okay. Sonny, you also own one, but you can have your opinion as well.
Right now, I believe it's worth around 18,000-19,000.
Okay. So, you see what's going on here? You all have a different opinion on how much this is worth. it's all subjective. For someone it's worth 18, for someone it's worth 100. So if I were to sell it now,
It's a little awful.
I would like to sell it
The
for
highest
But the problem is that Svanhild, she's only willing to pay 18,000. So if someone else now was here with a gold coin, well, Svanhild would be the one winning, because she's willing to pay the least for it. Let's say I am willing to sell it for, let's say, 25 or 20. She's not willing to buy it for more than 18. And 18 will be the price we agree on.
Why wouldn't you like to, like for instance, like Alpha say 100? Why wouldn't you like to sell it to Alpha?
Yeah, of course, I would like to sell it to Alpha.
Mm.
But the problem is that I will have a lot of competitors who are also selling gold coins. Right? And then they say, okay, you don't need to pay as much as 100. You can pay 80 and we're still fine with it. Someone else is coming and say, no, we don't need to pay 80. I can sell mine for 60. Someone else sells it for 40 and then 20. So I always have competitors. So everyone who is willing to buy has competitors. Now you are each other's competitors. But also everyone who is willing to sell has their competitors. And as we saw earlier, the supply and demand, they meet at a certain point, and that would be the agreed price in the market. So here we see the development in the prices of 1 ounce of gold the last close to 6 years in US dollars. So currently the price in the market for this coin is $1,792, which is close to 17,000. So that means, Alpha, if you were willing to give 100,000 for this, you can go to the market and buy it for now close to 17,000. And here we saw someone was willing to give 18, someone was willing to give 100. They all had different opinions, but the lowest, 18, was actually very close to what the market is at the moment for this coin. So all the information in the world is being aggregated, all the supply, all the demand in the world, and this is the price the market agrees on at the moment, $1,792.
The price one is willing to pay, does it also depend on trading? If someone looks at it that I buy now, I hold, expecting for price to rise, and someone who buys based on trading that he buys and sells like that, what can you explain between that? The trader and the one who looks like, okay, like let's say gold is an asset which I can keep for long term. I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it for long term. Does it affect the price in that way?
Yeah, so as I said, the price is always an aggregate of all the opinions in the world. So someone who is buying gold will buy it because they produce, let's say, gold rings for weddings. They need the gold to produce the ring. Someone else will say, I don't need the gold for a ring, I just want a coin that I can keep. In case the whole system collapses, I want to own gold. Someone is saying, no, I don't really care about the gold, but I believe that the prices will go up in the future. Then he's speculating. So you have traders in the market who are only speculating about the future price. So if the price is 1792 today, and you strongly believe that the prices will rise further into the future, you would have incentives to buy now, even if you don't care about the gold in itself. It can be whatever, it can be a stone, it can be a car, it can be a Big Mac, it doesn't matter. If you think that the prices will rise, you should buy now, buy at the low price, prices go up, then you sell it again, and you have earned the difference. And the same vice versa, if you believe the price will go down a lot, if you own something now, you should sell it. Then you will profit when it goes down. Then you can maybe buy it back again when it's cheaper. So you have all different people with different incentives in the markets. Someone is just speculating. Someone wants to keep it. Someone wants to have it as an insurance. Someone simply because they like it, and so on. And every decision, every judgment affects the price of the market because it will affect how much supply and demand there is for the asset. So what kind of markets do exist? We have actually a lot of different examples. One of them are the stock markets. You all have heard about stock markets, but what is it all about? Well, the stock market is all about owning a part of a company. NOSTARIS has 1,000 shares, right? And Pastor Peter is willing to buy 10 shares of the company because he likes the idea. He thinks, this company might do great in the future. He believes in the company. But if all of you believed greatly in the company, you might be willing to have a little share of it, right? To take part of the profits in the future. So if all of you are interested in owning a part of it, I can say, because of all this demand, I'm taking a high price now. I'm not willing to sell my company cheaply if people really believe in it. So the stock market prices, they always change based upon how much do we believe in the future prospects of this company. So those who buy a Tesla stock or an Amazon stock 10 years ago and kept it, they will have earned a lot of money now because people are using what Amazon and Tesla is offering and people are believing in the companies. Then you have also some companies who just go bankrupt. Confidence goes to zero. The price goes to zero as well. Then you have foreign exchange markets, exchanging one currency for another. This is actually the biggest market in the whole world. Every single day, there are 50,000 billion in value that's being changed in the forex market. So for instance, you can sell euro and buy dollar, or you can buy dollar and sell Norwegian kroner, simply exchanging one currency for another. So if Europe is doing very well and America is doing really bad, the euro would increase in value compared to the US dollar. Again, it's all about how much do we believe in it? How much confidence do we have in the currency? How valuable is it for us? Then you take the aggregate of all the opinions and you get the price. Then you have bond markets, which is lending money to governments and institutions. So if, let's say, this company eagerly needs money for some reason, the company can issue a bond. Someone is paying money to the company, but they get it back with interest. That is a bond. You are lending to someone, you get it back with interest over time. Then you have commodity markets, just like I showed you. Gold is a commodity, silver, oil, and it can be other things like gas, electricity, wheat, cattle, anything you can imagine. So basically, for every product that exists, there is a market for it. Everything that has a price attached to it is part of a market, one way or the other. And over time, it pays off to take some risk. So let's say that Pastor Peter now, since January 2000, he has put 500 in the bank each month, no matter how much he earns. Let's say he earned 10,000 one month, 15,000 one month, 20,000 one month. Every month he's saving 500 kroner. Then, now he would have 160,000 accumulated over those years. But instead of saving it in a bank, if he had invested it in the Norwegian stock market instead of a Norwegian bank, he would now have 488,000. It's quite a big difference. A huge difference between saving money and investing money. So you see the development of the saved money is very, very stable. It's safe because it's kept in a bank, but you don't really get any returns, any profits. If you had them invested, you would have some years where it goes down. It's more volatile. You can see that it's clearly more volatile, but over time, taking risk will pay off quite handsomely. But if you panic every time it goes down, then you might lose the opportunity of profiting later. But if you keep investing steadily, a little bit, consistently every month, just keeping it there, no matter what's going on, then over time it will pay huge dividends. So when you're investing, you should always think long term, and you should always be consistent and not be so moved by what's going on in the world. So this is the profit you will get only if you were consistent. Only if you were consistent. And investing, it's not as difficult as many people think. It's actually for everyone. Everybody can do it. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to have a lot of contacts, too much knowledge, education. You don't even need to have a job to invest. Because if you can only invest a little bit every month consistently, even if it's just 100. The example I used was 500, but even 100, it will pay off eventually. As it says here, compounded interest is one of the strongest forces in the world. Because if you earn a bit this year, you earn a bit more next year, a bit more after that, and then it compounds and it grows large after a while. So even if it doesn't seem a lot right now or in the short term, eventually it will be a lot. And many people think, no, I'm too poor to invest, or I only have a little bit, so I'd rather put it in the bank instead of investing. But using a broker like Nordnet, which we have available in Norway, it's just as easy as putting it in a bank. It's not complicated at all. It's just the same procedure, but instead of just keeping it there in the account, you simply use it to buy something like a fund like Superfondet Norge, which tracks the Oslo Børs stock market. And the example I showed on the previous slide would be exactly the returns you would get if you put your money in here instead of in the bank. So it's very low level. You don't need much knowledge. You can simply create an account, put a little bit of money in there every month, and then you will see what happens. Then you come back a few years from now, and you compare it to what the bank would have given you, and you will be very happy. But at the end of the day, it's always a question, how much should we really care about money? Someone called Edward Wood said, those who are of the opinion that money will do everything may reasonably be expected to do everything for money. So, as with everything in life, we need to have a balanced view. Money is important, but it's not everything. At the same time, it's not nothing either, because you need it. Right? You need it. So, money can buy you a house, but not a home. Money can buy a bed, but not sleep. Money can buy a clock, but not time. Money can buy food, but not appetite. Money can buy a book, but not knowledge. Money can buy amusement, but not contentment. Money can buy companionship, but not love. So it's important to remember that as well. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
First of all, let's thank
So Amelia, have a question?
Yes. First of all, if I would like to start investing, and then this is a big, huge area to start invest. There is so many things you can invest in. Is it like you can help me? I can buy from you the help to put that up and going.
Absolutely. That's one of the things this company is offering, is help and guidance into how you can invest. And you can also have advice which are tailor-suited for your needs. So let's say that you're a person, you don't like to take that much risk. Maybe you think the stock market is way too volatile for you, but at the same time you don't want to have it in a bank. Then the company can help you and guide you into, okay, you can put that much amount of money in the bank, that much in the bond market, that much in the stock market, and can help you to make those risk assessments and create a diversified investment portfolio for you depending on your needs and what you really want. So the company is helping private persons, also organizations, in making the best possible investment decisions according to their risk appetite and what they are comfortable with doing. Yes, so the company is offering this. Absolutely. Could you get that?
Yeah, I want to first of all say that was very rich and inspiring. I know I like to invest, I like to have a better future, but the push, sometimes one needs it, and it comes when you get the right information, because there's a lot of risk, and there's a lot of, you can hear information, but you want to get it from the right source, from someone you really trust. So I really appreciate this day. Thank you. Well, my first question is, which one is preferable, the bond or the stock? Because sometimes I don't like risk.
Yeah. That's a really good question. question and thank you for the feedback. And I think what you said in the end there is the key. You said you don't prefer that much risk because you have different levels of risks associated with each market and also different levels of the profit and the returns you can expect over time. So let's say that you don't really want to have all your money in the bank because it doesn't really pay off. But at the same time, you don't want to have them in the stock market either because it's a bit too risky for your taste. Then I think the bond market would be the perfect middle ground because it has some more risk than the bank, but not as much risk as the stock market. So in the bank, you will expect maybe to earn 0 to 0.5% a year in interest. In the bond market, you would expect to earn 3 to 4%, and in the stock market, 7 to 8%. So the higher risk you're willing to take, the more you can expect to earn over time, but it's also more volatile. So having those money in the bond market would be the perfect middle ground, I think, for your tastes. And also, as I said, brokers like Nordnet here in Norway, they also offer those funds.
Is it possible to have automatic deduction, like it goes directly from your salary monthly without you taking the action, transferring the money yourself?
Yeah, that's also a good question. And the answer is yes, it's possible. It's very easy to set up that. With a broker like Nordnet, you can simply, as you said, deduce it monthly or something from your account, your bank account. You can set the amount yourself, and you can change it if you want later. And that's also something the company can help people with. Introduce them to the systems, how it works, help them to get going, and also to offer advice along the way, of course. Yeah.
And when it comes to growth, is it like it always increases in value, or can you keep it at the value false? Because I had the impression that gold always increases in value.
So if we go back a few slides here. So here is the historic gold price from the end of 2015 to now. If you bought one gold coin here, it would cost around $1,100. And now you would have almost 1,800 of value. So you see, over time, it has increased. But let's say that you bought here. And if you bought here and kept it until now, you would have earned quite a lot. But if you panicked when you went down and sold your gold again, you would have lost money and you would not have profited on this rise later. So you see, over time, historically, it has increased in value. But of course, with every market, you can never know for sure whether the future will be as the past. So you cannot necessarily extrapolate what has happened into the future, but you can have a certain amount of confidence in your investment, whether it will go up or not. Personally, I think that over time, the gold prices will continue to increase because of all the printing of fiat money now in the world. I think eventually this price will go very, very high. And that's why I have bought gold, because I believe in that. But of course, I cannot say with 100% certainty, then I will be lying. No one knows 100% what will happen. No one knows that, except the all-knowing God. But people like us, we will never know. We can only have a certain amount of confidence. So based on history, yes, most probably, but you cannot guarantee it.
Yeah, I have many questions. Maybe you take other people's questions.
Yeah, so Pastor,
First of all, I want to thank Marius because, like, this organization, this company that he has created is really like an answer because, like, most immigrants lack the information. Like you said, that asset price reflect all available information, that it is all a game of information. And when we have a seminar like this, you know, we will try to provide information, but people are not willing to pay that information, and they suffer as a result because what you have presented to us today, we cannot even pay in terms of money. And sometimes it's good that we use our media to really post these things. You know, we have a program was up. All these things we are having information. When it's like this, let's try to put our phone on and post it on our forum so that people can know these things. Those in your level, they can understand it, so that, you know, people will know about NOSTARIS or a company and things like that. They can help, because sometimes you go to a bank, you don't have a personal contact with that banker. Even you want to buy a house, you don't know. So this is an answer that when something is going on, let's try to put our phone on, share this program, share this information for those in our network. Yeah, because those of us who have the information, if we don't share it to the people around us, we cannot scale high. Because like you have said here, it's all about information. You know, so please, let's take advantage of what we are getting here. I think for me personally, you cannot even pay. You cannot pay for this information, for all the time you took and coming here. But I know that this is just the beginning. That as you are sharing this information, others will benefit. Yes, so I just want to ask about the foreign exchange market.
Yeah.
When you have a foreign exchange like that, is it taxable? How is it done?
Yeah, so I guess your angle here is regarded to
Foreign
either
Currency.
investing in it
currency.
or to keeping it.
Yeah, to invest in it, to keep it. How does it run?
Yeah, so just as you have different kind of brokers like Nordnet, who are offering services into stock market, bond markets, you also have brokers that offers foreign exchange trading and investing. So it's very simple. You can create an account. For instance, this one, ING is a broker, and the broker will give you the prices in the market. You can decide to buy or sell a currency, and then you can keep it for as long as you want. If the value goes up, you earn money. If the value goes down, you lose. So it's always about how much risk are you willing to take. But basically every market in the world is available for investing, for funds, for insurance. So it's just basically pick and choose. So at the end of the day, the foreign exchange market is not really different from the gold market or the stock market. You have the same mechanisms applying everywhere. And you asked about taxation. In general, in Norway, if you have some investments and it grows over time, you don't need to pay tax until the day you withdraw the money sometime in the future. So you don't need to pay taxes continually of it. Only at the end of the day, it will be like a bit less than an income tax.
Okay.
So if you have accumulated, let's say 1 million over several years, you don't pay now, you don't pay next year. Only at the end of the road, when you stop investing, you take all the money out then the government will say, okay, you need to pay tax now from the surplus. But if you have lost money, you can do the opposite, deduct it from your tax. And that's the same with all investments, whether it's forex or gold or stocks or whatever. That's how it works in Norway. Yeah, Henry?
But in terms of the tax, like, do they have a percentage of amount to take?
Yes. So at the end of the day, when you have invested, let's say 10 years, you have hopefully made some profits, then you withdraw the money into your bank probably, and then there is a certain percentage of the money you have earned that you will need to pay to the state, just like if you had worked in a job. But the tax is a bit less than normal job. Yeah. And as I said, in a normal job, you pay tax every time you get a salary, continuously. But here you only pay when you're finished with the whole business at the end of the day. And it's only the revenue, what you have earned, and not what you have invested, not what you have put into it, only what's on top of that, that you pay taxes from. Yes. Yeah, Afan?
If I was going to start selling some equipment, let's say I created a good following on my social platform, and I had the idea to start selling some training equipment. Well, what is your advice for me to focus on when the start? Should it be the quantity, the price, or how can I start it off?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. My advice would be to make the market know about what you're offering, first and foremost. Like me now, for instance, being here, holding this presentation, would not benefit anyone if no one knew about it. And the same with every product you sell, it's all about exposing it to the market so they know about it.
Okay.
So marketing, I think, is number one for any goods, any services. And then based upon the response you get, then you can think more about the price. Because if you don't get any response at all, you cannot expect to sell it for a very high price. Then you must lower your expectations. But if the feedback is very positive, you know that, okay, yes, I can actually take quite a lot from what I'm offering. So I will really focus on the marketing bit, see what kind of response you get, and then you can make a judgment regarding what kind of price level you should be at. And that's also what this company is offering to people and institutions, help with making those kind of judgments, right? So based upon the feedback you get, you can have a certain judgment on what is your product worth. Because if you advertise it at too high price, people will be put off by it, right? They will be repelled.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding that right balance. So for me now, if I put my gold coin for sale for 100,000, maybe on the Alpha would buy it. Or maybe no one would buy it because they know that someone else is offering it for 17,000, right? They would rather go to that person. But it would be not wise of me to offer it for 5,000. Then someone will grab it immediately, and I could have earned more than that. So it's all about finding that balance all the time. And the more information you have about the market, the better equipped you are into knowing where does the equilibrium lie, where is the right balance. So I would advise you focus really on marketing. Yes, focus on that part.
And you can also change the price according to what the market says about it, right?
Absolutely. And
So
that's,
if you choose to start low just to get people to know you, to try the products, and then the group will just grow, you can you can change the price to a higher price, right?
Absolutely, and that's what markets do actually all the time. You have a price, and then you see, okay, the demand is higher than expected, prices go up. So it's always changing, you're adjusting the prices continually based upon the feedback you get from the market. Other people's opinions always decide the price. So as you said, the price of a product is always the aggregate of all the opinions of everyone involved in the market. It's all about opinions. How much do I think it's worth? How much do you think? And so on. That's what makes a price.
Yeah, I have a question about cryptocurrency. For instance, like Bitcoin. Like, I want to know your opinion. Like,
These last few years, as you know. Personally, I'm a bit skeptical of cryptocurrencies because, like, when you buy gold, like this coin, you own it. You can hold it in your hands, right? And no matter what happens in the world around you, you will still have it in your keeping. But a cryptocurrency is much more abstract, right? It just exists in the digital world.
yeah.
So you don't have it physically in your possession. And if something happens beyond your control, let's say hacking, a virus, or whatever takes your crypto away from you, it's virtually 0% chance of ever getting what's yours back. But if, let's say, you own a lot of gold, you can go to an insurance company and insure that gold. So even if it's stolen from you, you get at least the amount of value back. But that's not possible with cryptocurrencies.
No.
And also, I think that a lot of governments, a lot of central banks look at cryptocurrencies as a threat to their system, and they are putting more and more sanctions and regulations on the crypto market. You have parts of the world where trading in cryptocurrency is even banned by the governments, and my prediction is that it will spread all over the world eventually, so that cryptocurrencies will be highly regulated or even banned, and the demand for it will go down quite a lot. But of course, in the short run, you might earn money by buying Bitcoin now, riding the wave for a while, but I think at the end of it, it will come crashing down. That's my opinion. Of course, I know other people have different opinions, and that's what makes markets so interesting, because everyone has their own opinion, and no one knows exactly for sure what will happen. But as I said, the more information you have, the better judgment and decision you can make. So I know that there are a lot of people optimistic regarding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, while others, they, like me, think it will eventually go down to zero due to the fact that governments look at this as a threat to their system. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it.
It's a very good one, because I was about to entertain that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not claiming that I have all the answers, of course. Decisions about investments will always be private, will be up to each and every person. But what this company is offering is help and counsel to those who request it. Yes.
I need a little information about, not little, maybe big, the difference between Andel and AA when you're buying a house, and how profitable is it to go into bully market, like purchasing taking a mortgage.
Yeah, so when you are owning a house, like you said, eie versus andel. Eie means you are owning it, it's in your possession, it's in your name, and you can sell it later on the market. Andel is if you're part of borettslag. You have many different units that have come together. Then you don't really own your unit, you just own a part of it. So it means that you can still sell it as usual, but in a borettslag you often have debt associated with the organization, the borettslag. So it means that you are helping the borettslag to pay off debt every month. And that will be in addition to your mortgage. But if you're owning a house, it will only be the mortgage that you're paying. But at the same time, if you have an andel in a borettslag, the price of the home will probably be lower because you have more expenditures each month due to the fact that you're helping to pay the debt of the borettslag. So the price of the object itself is lower. So it depends on what you want really. Do you want to pay less right now and more into the future? Then andel is better for you. Or if you want to pay more now, less in the future, then owning something in your name is better. And again, it depends on what you think will happen in the future. Will the interest rates stay the same? Will they increase? And how much egenkapital do you have? How much do you actually need to borrow now to buy your home? So it depends upon a lot of factors and also upon different kind of risk assessments, what's most important for you, what are you most comfortable with. And again, NOSTARIS is helping people to make this kind of decisions by counseling them, but the counsel will always depend upon a lot of factors, a lot of unknowns. So then the counselor would need to sit down with you, get more information, like how much egenkapital do you have, how much income do you have, how much do you expect to earn in the future, how much do we expect the interest rates to change in the future. You need to take all these factors and make a calculation, get some numbers, and make a decision based on that. So it always comes down to preferences and individual judgments. Depends on what is most important for you and what is available for you at the moment.
Yeah, so if you have maybe not too much money, it's preferable to go for the andel.
Yeah, then
that's
you
why
will.
it says it's good to take a personal contact so that you can discuss personally with your company. Yeah.
Yeah, so NOSTARIS is offering different kind of products, as I said, but at the same time it's not charity, so it will also be like fees for teaching, for consultation. But now, at least in the beginning, NOSTARIS is offering this for quite a low amount, only 250 per hour, which is very cheap compared to
Mm.
competitors. Because if I came from a big financial institution now,
Yeah.
like DNB,
Yeah.
Nordea, they would take maybe 10,000 just for me coming here.
More than
And not even sharing this
nothing.
with you, this information with
No,
you.
no.
If you go to any consultancy company, they would at least take 1,000 per hour for consulting you.
Yeah.
A lawyer takes 2,000 or more. So here we can have teaching and consulting for only 250 per hour. It's an opening offer. that the company is now offering to potential customers. Yeah.
Is it to call and make an appointment, or you have a particular time that somebody can call
Yeah.
for consultation?
So I brought this to you guys. This is business card of the company. And then if you have a need for teaching, to help with something, consultancy, you can either call me here or send me an email. And then we will agree upon the terms, and eventually if we need to meet, if I need more information from you, and so on. And then we make an agreement, and then the company will work on it. And of course, if you know anybody else who needs help with something, you can also refer the company name to them, or pass on the business card if you want. So yeah, it's only, you can just take contact and then we will agree. Yeah, Peter?
Yeah, this is a question like I mostly discuss with people that are owning a house, because most of the time I hear that, like even people that are owning a house, they say that it is better to rent than to buy a house. So like, I want to know from your own opinion, since you are kind of like in that field, like, what do you think is the best, to rent a house or to buy a house?
And as I said earlier, at the end of the day, you need to take the information that's available, make a qualified assessment, and take into account what is most important for you as a person. Because now you said what is best, right? The question, what is best? Then I can ask you, what do you mean by best? Best in what regard?
Okay, what is less expensive?
Less expensive.
Yeah.
And then if you only look at the expenses in and of themselves, it's better to rent than to own a house. But if you take into account how much you think the value of what you own will increase in the future, when you take income minus expenditures, then it's better to own than to rent. So even if, like now we are owning an apartment, even if you're paying a little bit more each month than we would do if we were renting, because of the increase of the value of the apartment, the day we sell, we will have everything back and more. So then it, as I said, it depends on what you mean by best. If you only consider expenditures, then it's best to rent. But if you take the whole package into account, I would say it's better to own a house. But again, it depends on what kind of risks are you willing to take. Because if you own a house, you probably will need a mortgage. But the interest rates might change in the future. It might become more expensive than you planned. So it can go both ways. It's always a matter of assessing the risks and what means most for you. So in that particular case, we would need to know a lot more, need a lot more information before we could conclude.
So like, both owning a house, it has a plus and a minus, and renting also have a plus and a minus.
Exactly. And that's the, like a basic fact of life, right? By us being here now, there are a lot of pluses, but there are also some minuses. We could have been somewhere else and done something as well. Owning house, plus and minus, renting, plus and minus, because if there was only pluses, no minus, then everyone would do it. Everyone would do the same. Some are renting and some are owning.
So what is ideal for like a family man or a family? Like, is it ideal to keep renting or ideal to?
Yeah, so again, I think it depends.
Your forum, because some of you say some of you are on social media. These are the kind of things you should share on your social media, so that when you go talking to your people and sharing content, they'll know that this person is coming from a resource. You see, so it's all about sharing information. You know, so many people, I believe. NOSTARIS, this company, it's very important, but it will not be important if people don't know about it. You know, and I want to say something because we have changed the name of African Network to Dominion Resource Center, and I just want to for why did I change the name? I was like thinking that. The purpose for our existence here on earth is to have dominion. That is why you and I are existing. And so I changed the name from African Network Resource Center to Dominion Center. Why? Because I found out that we are all here on earth to have dominion. And most people are dominated in this life. You know, and one of the things that dominates many people is finance, isn't it? One of the things that dominate many people is finance, and not to talk of the immigrant. And I personally, before 2015, I was in such a financial debt that you couldn't imagine. And I know the strain and burden it had on me. And by 2015, I was so much in credit card debt because before my wife, I wanted to impress her, I bought a new fridge. She didn't know I was on debt. I bought a new fridge, you know, just to impress her that she's coming, you know. I said, hey, I need to, and then they gave me 50,000, I just took it. Bought free. Before she came, she saw television, fridge, was that. But I never told her it was on credit. So after I went out, you know, my student loan, my credit card loan, I never told her. So when the debt started coming, I said, I have student loan. You have to. She said, you didn't tell me from the beginning. Why you want me to join you now? You know? So it was such a strain on me that spiritually I was suffocating. You know, I couldn't rest. So I decided in 2015 that I wanted to have dominion over finance. I wanted to take control. It's a decision. It's a decision. It's not the amount. It's a decision. So in 2015, I said, who is the one that can help me? Let me look around my circle and find somebody. Because when I look into our milieu and community, in our community, there's no one who can help me. Everybody is like nothing. Everybody clubbing. I said, who will help me? So I called MARIUS. I went there. I asked him, can you help me in my finance, like stock market and everything? And for me, I'm serious. If I come here, you know this information, I take it seriously. Most of you, you will take it and don't care again. You will take it and you have probably no comfort. But I will tell you, when I take something, I'm serious. So I took it 2015. I said, within 5 years, that's what I made the decision. Within 5 years, I will pay all my debts. I will pay the student loan, I will pay the credit loan, and by 2020, I'll be out financially. I made that choice. I made that decision. What happened? I determined, and true to the fact, I was able to pay all that debt, student loan, everything. So where I am today, if I look at it behind, I just give thanks to God. That where? Because I am in such a situation now that the standard I'm living, I can live even if I don't get nothing from nowhere to the next 3 years, same standard. So there's peace of mind, and that's dominion. So most of us here, you see, is because you don't have the right information. Now this is information that is presented to us now. Are you going to take that opportunity? You see, are you going to take that opportunity to call and make an appointment and be willing to pay a price, some fee for it? Because some of us, we think everything is free will, pastor, free will. No! You got to pay for something you need to get. Are you getting me? Because it takes time for the person to gather the information. It takes money for the person to do the research. So it's not going to be for free. But now, you can take that thing with your partner, say, let us call Marius, let us meet with him. How much does he charge for an hour? You know, and because now he's introducing the company. But it's not going to be like that in the long run. So whoever steps in this place now will receive. But sooner or later, maybe you not even have the opportunity we are having now. Because once he's presenting this information, that's why I say, please put your phone on. There's Wi-Fi here. Share these things on your platform. Share it. Share it. It's all about sharing. If you have knowledge you don't share, it will not come. So that's why I'm all about sharing, and the more you share, the more you get. Don't keep it to yourself. You see? So this kingdom, this Dominion Resource Center is all about you finding your purpose and dominating in that area. Because each one, like you see Marius is doing this thing effortlessly, without us paying to the degree we're supposed to. Why? Because that's his purpose. It's his calling. So he flows in it. That is dominating in that area. So he enjoys doing it. Because he could do it somewhere and get more money. But now he's fulfilled in doing that. But it doesn't have to be for free. You see? So this seminar, we said 200 kroner. And everybody can do that. Everybody can do that. At least, even more than 200. You have the VIPs and so on. So that next time we come again, you know, we are going to have more. And many people are going to come. Because let me tell you, for the immigrant population, the immigrants are suffering financially. Debt is killing the immigrant. When you look at the Norwegian population and the immigrant population, most of the immigrants, there's nothing we can pass on to the next generation. Are you getting me? Yes. Because we don't have the information. It's not that the next, we don't have that information to take us from A to B. Why? Because how will you have the contact out there? So to find contact like this, it's an opportunity. Because from here, you will be knowing what to do. Like we heard about the stock market. If somebody came in January 2000 and was just putting 500 in the stock market, by now, what would that amount of money be? And that money is money working for you. But if nobody told you about the stock market, what will you be doing? You'll just be working for money, and your money will not be working for you. Because all people will tell you, oh, there is risk. Oh, don't do that. Because they lack the information. Of course, there is risk in everything. There's no investment in which there's no risk. So to say that I'm not going to take risk, you will just be in a comfort zone and you'll die, because we are living in a time where everything is risky. Going out on the snow is risky. Are you getting me? Driving is risky. Sleeping is risky. People die in their sleep. So where is there no risk? Are you getting me? Investing is risky. But those who take the risk to invest, they will see the result. But those who want to stay comfort, I don't want to take no risk, so I'll lose my money. You instead losing money by you keeping to that. You see, so the richest of the rich are always taking risks. That's why they are rich. But the poorest of the poor are holding on. They don't want no risk. And there's no safety. There's no investment. Somebody will tell you that. That's why it was good. But Amaro was explaining, it depends on the individual. I cannot give a general answer. So it depends on your personal preference. What is your financial situation? Are you getting me?
Yes.
What is your financial situation? What is your net worth? Where do you want to be? What is your financial goal? Because my financial goal is not the same like anybody here. So that has to take it. For me, financially is being free, that I can go to the shop and buy what I want to buy. Are you getting me? I can do what I want to do. But somebody, he has a different preference. So what is your financial vision and goal? That's why you can look into. So that's why we came here. But it has now to be personal. You call it, look into your what you are earning, what is your cost. Then from there you'll be able to make like a doctor. Like a doctor will be able to do that. So please, let's take advantage, because I can only give you the basic, but he can take you to that next level. Because as a pastor, this center is a network center. I can only take you to as far as I can. But to have him that can take you deeper and be able to interpret some of the documents we have, they are written in such a Norwegian that you yourself will need somebody to come and interpret. Isn't it? And you will take it to your own brother. He doesn't know the interpretation. Isn't it? But something will be eating you there. But now, he can be able to interpret that for you from the bank for you to know. But please, let us take that opportunity now, because it might not be there. I might not be here in the next year. He might not be here. So when you hear something, step in, get in. And let me tell you, those of you here, please take charge of your finance, because it will pay great dividend in you. Like we say, money cannot do this, money cannot buy happy market, but let me tell you, money controls everything. Money does what? It controls everything, because everything is controlled by money. If you don't have money, you sleep out and snow will kill you. Isn't it? You don't have food. You die. So money answers everything, Solomon said. So that's why I'm interested that this company, at least, NOSTARIS is going into finance. Because I know how Marius, and I say this for him, and I say it privately. I say, for me, it was like God ordained me to meet Marius. Because I will not be in a financial situation today if I never met him. But that was private between me and him. But now, he is really coming out after that seminar we had, that he wants to do a presentation. I was like, God has answered my prayer. Because the information we have received here, if I thought he was going to a company, we will not be able to pay him. Because I know, as I close, when my friend called me to Oslo, that boy, come to Oslo, there's a seminar here from people from America. And when we went to the hotel in Oslo, this had Norwegian, the whole place was full. In fact, nobody had space to come in that seminar in Oslo. He said, these people are teaching about wealth and finance. You could not have a space in that hotel. Everybody was full. And when I sat there, when they finished the presentation, I said, what was this? My goodness. I said, what was it? These people were just nothing about investing, stock market, real estate, commodity. They were just giving history. I said, boy, me, I can do this again money now. I said, boy, after I came home, I told him, all this, look at the people, these are people who were filled in that hotel in Oslo. But look at what he has given us here, free of charge. So please, let's take this advantage. Call him, you have his card, even give it out to other friends. That's why I tell you, go home with your partner, with your wife, whatever, sit down. This is the information we have had. Let's take contact. Because we don't have the full picture now, but we need a third party that can guide us, that can teach us, at least, so that we know, because like he said, the information that you have, you are able to make good decisions. If you don't have that good information, you can't make good decisions. And life is all about decision making. It's all you made a decision to come here. Life is decision. Everywhere you are is the choices and the decision you make. So please, I really appreciate him taking the time to come and share, and I hope this is not the last, because there are many things to come, and I thank that really for everyone coming. So please, but like Peter was asking, Alpha was asking, Henry, Juliet, everybody had things, even myself, and I take contact with him and I tell him, this is not for free. Yeah, I tell him this is not for free. I say, if you do this, I will pay you this. Because I know you can't just take advantage. Are you getting me? And he understands. So please, let's do something. Let's do something. Amen?
Amen.
Yeah. See, we are in the last days, and money is going to be the order of the day. And those who have the information about money will rule. Imagine now you start to put 500. Now that you know, you ask him, you call him, I want to start to invest in the stock market. Just the 500, some of you spend 1,000 on tennis. On tennis, that will not increase in no value. But if you took that 1,000 and put it there, you just forget it. Even when you are going, your money is working for you in the stock market. Are you hearing me? Yes, because you say, I don't want to lose it, but the tennis you bought, what is it profiting you? But once you put it in that stock market, you know something. So, but I cannot help you in that area. So he is there to help you. Are you getting me? Yeah, he is there to help you. And then you say, okay, what is your fee? How long will you take this opportunity? And then inform other people. That's why you see me sharing all the time. Inform, tell your father, tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your sister. There is a place here who can have this place. So that by him doing that, he too, his company is coming up, he can now reduce the charges. Are you getting me? Yes, because of the client that he's having. And then the company can grow. And it becomes a kingdom company now, helping Christians. Are you getting me? Because people of the world, they are helping their own. But helping believers now. Members go to Bethel Church, tell them. Go to Overcomers Church, tell the partners there. That's why I'm telling to this pastor. Because some pastors are not doing the things I'm doing for you people. Because maybe they are doing it, but not to this way that I know. Are you getting me? So tell their members, this is not a church thing. This is a company that can help you people. It's registered, it's authentic, it's genuine. It can give you counseling. It can give you planning for your own financial level. Are you getting me? It can help you. So please take opportunity of that in Jesus' name. Amen. So tomorrow service starts at 3 o'clock. We have changed the time. Service starts at 3 o'clock. Peter, you got the information right? Yeah, so we're starting at 3 as from tomorrow. So I want to appreciate everyone that has come to this seminar today, and please, anything that you can give, 200, 250, whatever, just VIPs, and then I will send you something for that presentation. Amen? Amen. So, God bless. Yes. Thank you.